Hi out there. Hi, parents. Hope everything is going well with you and your family. I'm going to talk today about some ways that you can help your child become a better speller. If you haven't seen my other video already about how to become a better reader, check it out. It's very concise and to the point, and will give you some very, very surefire ways to help your child become a better reader without a whole bunch of stress. So, a lot of my students struggle with spelling, and a lot of adults I know struggle with spelling. So I have 5 tips here that you can use at home to help your child or even yourself become a better speller. I recommend that you devote about 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days per week, or at least 3 days per week, because 5 days might be a lot, but 30 minutes, 3 days a week or so to get started. Make the time for it, because this is something that takes a long time for some people to get their spelling down. So you can't just spend little 5 minutes here, little 5 minutes there. You need to devote some time to this. If you can only do 15 minutes, 3 days a week, then do that. Just do something. Something will always be better than nothing. And if you find that you're not going to have time, you're thinking about, how am I going to do this? I don't have time. Cut out a TV show. Have your child cut a video game out. Stop something that you're doing in order to help your child become a better speller. So the first tip, I think is very, very crucial, is to make sure your child knows his or her sounds. They need to know their alphabet sounds. That is like a foundational, basic skill. They need to know the 5 vowel sounds, and actually there's more than 5 vowel sounds, but the basic vowel sounds, the short vowel sounds, a, e, I, those sounds come when you have a word that has a closed syllable in it. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But those are the short vowel sounds. A, e, I, and then sometimes Y, but that's not going to be for a closed syllable. You can also have the long vowel sounds, which are A, E, I, O, U, and oo. Okay? So there are several vowel sounds, and though your child needs to know that they will only use certain short vowel sounds for what they call closed syllables, and they're only going to use the long vowel sounds for other types of syllables. The vowel Y can be a vowel also. The vowel Y is going to either say I or it's going to say E. And that depends on whether or not it's an open syllable or a vowel, well, just an open syllable basically. So tip number 1 again, make sure your child knows his or her alphabet sounds. Okay, it's best also to attach a keyword with it. So you could teach them A, apple, a, or A, at, a, or B, bun, b. Okay, make sure they have a keyword to go with the letter, because it really, really does help your child to memorize those sounds quicker. Tip number 2. Learn the major syllable types. Now, I'm not going to overwhelm you. There are really 6 major syllable types in the English language. I'd recommend that you teach your child the closed syllable type first. This is a foundational syllable type that most of the words in the English language are made out of. So these are words that have one vowel and they're followed by a consonant. A word like sat. You have s, at, you have the S, you have an A, and you have a T. So in that case, you're going to say a because it is a closed syllable. So I would teach my child the closed syllable first with all the vowel sounds. You have your a, e, I, and then go from there. The second syllable type I would teach is the Vowel-Consonant-E, which is a very popular syllable type here in America. A lot of words have the vowel consonant E syllable. Those are words like ice. You have ice. You have an I, a C, and an E. And the I says its name. It says I because there's an E at the end. Now, of course, these syllables have exceptions to the rule, and those can be taught as well. But if you just get the basic foundation of the closed syllable, which is one vowel followed by consonant words that have the short vowel sounds, and then the Vowel-Consonant-E words, these are words that have an E at the end, and the vowel's going to say its name, like A-E-I-O-U, then that's a great start. Learning these types of syllables and learning the rules to these syllable types makes spelling so much easier because the majority of people are just guessing. If they've never learned these rules, they just guess. And that's why they struggle with spelling so much. I would have your child write 10 of these words when you do your lesson with them, just 10. So if you're going to be doing closed syllables, just do 10 words. You can find these words online. Just type in closed syllables and you can use those words to practice. Depending on their age level, you can choose the words based on how old your child is. Of course, you're going to pick a little fewer, easier words if your child's younger, or if you want to challenge them, pick harder words. Tip number 3 is to make sure that your child memorizes high frequency words. Those are words that are also called sight words. And basically, to sum it up, these are words that also make up a large percentage of the English language. If your child can read these words that are considered to be high frequency words or sight words, they can read them quickly and automatically. It's going to make your child's reading and spelling flow so much better, right? And they have to memorize them because these particular words don't follow the typical rules of English. For instance, the word always. The word always is a high frequency word. You spell it A-L-W-A-Y-S, but you might think, well, it sounds like it'd be A-L-L. Always? Well, let's think. A-L-L-W-A-Z. E, always. That's how it sounds, right? But that is not how you spell always. So your child needs to memorize a list of high frequency words. I would just do maybe 5 to 10 at a time, probably 5. But again, it depends on your own individual child. Your child may be able to handle 10 per week. And I would just have your child write those down on a whiteboard at home or in some little sand or type on the computer in a Microsoft Word document, or spell them on the table, or get some gel or some shaving cream and have your child trace those letters, or just simply just write them on paper with an ink pen or a marker for fun, and make it into like a spelling bee or a fun activity. But once your child learns the majority of the high frequency words per their level, you have lists based on levels. You have a first grade list, second grade list, third grade list, fourth grade list. It goes all the way up to grade 12. You can do what they call the Dolch sight word list, or you can do the Fries sight word list. Either one will suffice, okay? So I would check out the high frequency words and have your child practice spelling those words too. Tip number 4, play word games. Just play word games like Scrabble, or go to spellingcity.com. They have games on there. You can play games from the store like Upwards, Bookworm Deluxe, Word Hero. You can play a word game with your own child. Just have them get some paper. This is a game that I played in my house a lot. Just have them get some paper, a pencil, or a pen, and just say, okay, we're going to have a little competition. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. We're going to write down as many words as we can that begin with the letter G. And then you'll just say start, set a timer, and just write down as many words as possible that begin with the letter G. Just have them practice those words for fun. Once it's over, have your child read his or her list of words, and then you can look at the list and just say, okay, yeah, you spelled this way, and just kind of go over it quickly. So don't make it boring. Make it fun. Don't make it stressful. And don't try to go over every single word that day, but just look at the list and say, oh yeah, you spelled this word correctly. Let's look at this word. Okay, I can see what you're saying here. It just gets them spelling more, and it gets them more interested, hopefully, in spelling. Now, tip number 5, this is the last tip, is to have your child use a spell checker online. So when your child, especially if they're in middle school or even elementary school, upper level, like 4th or 5th grade, and then higher, if they're having to write essays or compositions or sentences or paragraphs for a homework assignment or just for any assignment, you can have them get used to using a spell checker. Now, Microsoft Word automatically checks the spelling, but Grammarly is a good one. I use one called Reverso Spell Checker. It's free. It's online with my students. and literally they can put in the word the way they think they would spell it. This is for the reversal spell checker. If they think the word is, let's say the word flag, and they're not sure how to spell flag, they think it might be Flage, maybe. They would just put that word in the little box on the reversal spell checker. Just put in Flage, and then it's going to automatically correct it and say, oh no, that should be flag. And it's going to spell it Flag. So I recommend using a spell checker tool with your child, teaching them how to use a spell checker tool, especially as he or she gets older, because he or she needs to become more of an independent speller on their own. And getting back to tip number 2 about the syllable types, I have to also bring up the fact that you should teach your child how to break words into syllables, because your child needs to understand what a syllable is. A syllable is basically just a push of breath. It's just it has to have a vowel in it. So if you have the word, let's see, baseball, then you would say baseball. The first syllable is base, second syllable is ball. So that would be a 2-syllable word. Once your child can syllabize words or break words into syllables like that, that will help them also to be able to spell words better too. Because let's say they're learning the syllable types, right? You have your closed syllable, you have your Vowel-Consonant-E syllable, you have your open syllable, you have your what they call a final stable syllable. You have so many different syllable types, right? You have the 6 major ones. Let's say your child is trying to spell baseball. Well, they're going to look at the word base, and they're going to say, oh, base, B-A-S. If they spell it B-A-S, that's going to be bass. It's not going to be base. So your child, when you're teaching them the syllable types, they're going to learn, oh, that's going to have an E at the end of it, because the A is saying its name. So that's the first syllable, B-A-S-E. And that's the way for your child to learn how to spell that syllable by syllable. And then ball, that would be a closed syllable, B-all, B-A-L-L. Combine them. Now you have your compound word, baseball. And also, you can also have your child type in the reversal spell checker or whatever spell checker tool you decide to use. You can have them type it in on their cell phone or their laptop or the computer at home, the desktop. Have them, okay, if they say, okay, I think you spell baseball, B-A-S-B-A-L. And then just have your child type that in. Type it into the reversal spell checker little screen area, little box area, and it should automatically fix it for them. And go, oh, and then you can talk about why that wouldn't be the correct way to spell it. So these are 5 tips that I know will help you. I use them with my students all the time, and they are very, very successful things to do to help your student become successful. They are very helpful things to do to help your student become successful, which is your child, right? Also, just be patient with your child and yourself. Be kind. Treat your child like you'd want to be treated. The same patience you want your supervisor to show you at work as you learn a new job is the same patience you should show your own child as your child is learning how to become a better speller. And finally, be persistent, parents. Don't quit. Don't give up after 1 or 2 lessons. Keep going. Keep working with your child until your child improves. As your child begins to show improvement, you're going to feel such a sense of joy and satisfaction, and so will your child. Just keep working. And just keep working on 1 syllable at a time. Start with the closed syllable, get that down, and then move on to the Vowel-Consonant-E syllable. And then you can go on to whichever syllable type you think your child needs in the next order. Okay, if you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to contact me, comment below. I'll get back with you. Or you can also email me at loveliteracyandlife@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Happy learning and happy spelling. Take care.